The importance of understanding community dynamics and community action, we're going to tackle here about the changes that will happen or that may happen within the community at ano yung ginagawa usually ng community to address some problems na tawag dito, ano yung experience po nila. Ayan, our learning objective to understand the role and importance of individual in the community. So we're going to discuss about yung role po natin at yung importansya ng tayo. Ano yung silbi natin sa isang community. And usually ano po yung mga tinatanong po dito, ito yung ano yung importansya ng pag-aaral sa isang community at ano yung nangyayaring changes sa isang community. How important is the study of community to our future as an individual and as a collective? When I say collective po, we are referring to tayo. Dami ng mga nag-i-stay sa isang community. And then how can critical knowledge about the community affect us and others? O paano nakaka-apekto yung kaalaman natin sa isang community at sa ibang tao? All right, for our first slide, we have the living commune. Okay, who wants to read for this one? Sino pong gusto magbasa? Nicole, pwede nga pabasa ko nito?
The word community, in its literal form, is defined by two characteristics: location and social identification. First, a community can be defined simply as a group of individuals bound within a specific geographic location. It means that group of people living in a specific area can already be is a living social entity and goes beyond the old categories of space. Its primary definition, more than a space, a community is made up of people, you and I. Much like a living organism, you may think of people as living cells that make up an organic being. People within the community act in the same way and same importance like cells. We need each other to support life. Our society itself has life, has vibrancy, and every single one is integral to support this structure as everybody else.
Okay, salamat Sir Rico sa pagbasa nito para sa amin. The living community is considered as the word community in its literal form is defined by two characteristics. Pag sinabi po natin community in its literal form, in its simplest form. So dinedefine natin yung community base sa location, na kung saan natin to nakikita. And then social identification, we are referring to sa mga tao na nag-i-stay dun sa mismong location na yun. Okay? Ano yung identity nila? First, a community can be defined simply as a group of individuals bound within a specific geographic location. It means that a group of people living in a specific area can already be called a community. When we define a community, dalawa na yung kino-consider natin. Yung space ng community at yung mga tao na nag-i-stay po dun sa community. That's how we define a community. Kapag nakakikita tayo or nakakarinig tayo na isang lugar pinamumuguran ng madaming tao, that is already a community. Okay, a community is a living and social entity. Pag sinabi natin living social entity, ibig sabihin, ang community po ay isa po siyang parang organisasyon na kung saan meron po silang separate na existence. Yun yung tinutukoy niya dito sa social entity. Alright? And goes beyond the old categories of space as its primary definition. More than a space, a community is made up of people. Of course, yung sa community, hindi lang yung space ang nagde-define sa community, pati na din po yung mga tao na nag-i-stay dito. Mahalaga po yung tao. Hindi natin masasabi na yung community ay community kapag space lang gino-consider natin. Dapat may tao din. Alright? Kung laging may tao, lagi pong may space yan. Kung may space, kung wala pong tao, ibig sabihin hindi po siya community. Katulad ng ikaw at ako, napapabilang tayo sa isang barangay. Barangay is already a community. Much like a living organism, you may think of people as living cells that make up an organic being. So parang sa tao lang, yung mga nakikita natin sa katawan po natin, aling yung balat niyan is made up of cells, right? Hindi yan nabubuo pag wala yung cells. Katulad ng isang community, hindi nabubuo yan pag wala pong tao. Sa bahay, hindi po nabubuo yan pag wala yung sa may hollow blocks, kapag made up of hollow blocks ng bahay, right? Okay, people within the community act in the same way and of the same importance. So kung gaano kahalaga yung ibang tao sa isang community, ganun din tayo. Ganun ka din kahalaga. Kahit isa kang nobody sa community, mahalaga ka pa rin. Okay? Hindi mo man maintindihan yung importance mo ngayon, pero later on, magkakaroon ka ng importance in the future sa community. Like cells, we need each other to support life. Ayan. Sa community po, we are not living alone. So kapag nagiging part tayo ng isang community, laging-laging meron po tayong kasama. We are not living alone kapag nasa isang community tayo. Our society itself has life, of course. Kapag ang isang community, lagi pong may buhay yan. Walang klaseng community na walang buhay. Okay? Has vibrancy, laging masaya. Every single one is an integral part to support this structure. Kapag sinabi natin integral, is integral to support, ibig sabihin mahalaga kayo sa pagsuporta ng community. Kahit maliit man na bagay, meron kayong naitutulong. Meron kayong contribution sa mismong community. Support is an example. Sa kaayusan, when you say structure, sa kaayusan ng bawat lahat. Okay? That is the living commune. For the next one, we have, ayan, the basic of a community. Would you mind to read for me, Raymond, yung second honor natin? Raymond, pabasa naman ako nito. Uy, Raymond, gising na. Pabasa naman ako nito.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. Wait lang, sir. When we think of a community, we think of how people come together to form a singular faction. We see it as a structure that is made up of individuals bound by something abstract and unforeseen. It is not as simple as such, as the community is bound because of self-help. The concept of self-help is about how individuals seek personal development without the help of others. However, self-help defines a community once each individual's wants and needs intersect. Therefore, justifying a need to unify, it is assumed that people are bound to seek self-help in their own lives, and in their journey, find common avenues for cooperation and partnership among others, and therefore lay the foundation for capacity building.
Salamat
Okay
sa
na, sir?
Raymond. Okay, thank you. The basic of a community, when we think of a community, we think of how people come together to form a singular faction. Kapag iniisip po natin yung word ng community, ang laging pumapasok po sa ating isip natin kung paano po yung mga tao nagtitipon-tipon at bumubuo ng isang grupo or faction. Okay, that is a community. We see it as a structure. Kapag sinabi natin community, there is what we call structure. May kaayusan. Okay, may kaayusan sa mga bagay-bagay, sa mga values nila, sa the way they communicate, there is what we call a structure. Okay, kumbaga parang sa pagkuha sa ano ng mga bagay-bagay, may proseso. That is structure, may kaayusan within a community. It is made up of individuals by something abstract and unforeseen. So there are things that is keeping a particular individual from leaving this what we call community. Sabihin kasi natin kapag may mga grupo kayo sa school, hindi kayo basta-basta umaalis sa grupo ninyo kasi feeling nyo you belong. Okay, there is what we call a sense of belonging in that particular group or particular community. Kaya yung isang tao, nagdududa siya or kumbaga ayaw niyang umalis din sa community kasi he belongs or she belongs. Okay, that is something abstract at unforeseen. Okay, it is not as simple as such as the community is bound because of self-help. And the other one also is self-help. When we say self-help kasi ito yung konsepto na kung saan ito yung tungkol sa isang individual na kung saan naghahanap ng personal development without the help of others. When we say self-help in a community, ibig sabihin, ginagamit nila yung sarili nilang resources para magbuo ng something. Say for example, meron silang pinapatayo o meron silang sariling activity within the community. Ginagamit nila yung sarili nilang personal or resources para magawa yung activity na maayos, para maipatayo itong building nito na maayos without the help of other communities. Yun yung tinatawag nating self-help. Kapag sa tao sana ito ay yung pagiging independent ka. Independent ka, wala kang inaasahang tao, that is self-help. Okay, self-help defines a community once each individual wants and needs are intersect. So within the community po, may the other term for the self-help kasi within a community, nababagay din to sa ibang tao. Na ibang tao na kung saan within a community wherein kapag yung ako, for example, we belong into the same community or the same barangay. Magpapagawa ako ng bahay o di kaya magpaparenovate ako ng bahay. Tapos ikaw, nangangailangan ka ng trabaho tapos sakto pa nun, karpintero ka. Yung wants and needs po natin mag-i-intersect. So kakailanganin ko yung tulong mo at then kukunin kita para magtrabaho sa bahay ko and then babayaran kita. And then you offer your service sa akin. Yung wants and needs po natin nag-i-intersect. Kaya kapag nag-i-intersect yung mga pagkagustuhan at pangailangan natin, nagkakaroon ng unification sa isa't isa. That is self-help also. Okay? It is assumed that people are bound to seek self-help in their own lives. So, ibig sabihin, in our life, we always seek self-help sa buhay po natin. We always seek help for the others po. Okay? It's either sa ibang tao within the community or pa sa pansarili po natin. And in their journey, find common avenues for cooperation. So, ibig sabihin kapag nag-i-intersect po yung kagustuhan at pangangailangan natin, nagkakaroon po ng cooperation at partnership sa isa't isa. Alright? Among others, and therefore lay the foundations for capacity building. When we say capacity building naman, ibig sabihin, ini-enhance mo yung mga skills mo. Ini-enhance mo yung mga resources mo para maka-adapt ka sa mga pagbabago sa paligid natin. Say for example, yung parang sa pagpasok ng COVID-19, 'di ba? Yung pandemic. All right. Kailangan mag-adjust ang bawat community sa pagpasok ng virus na 'yan. Kailangan mas maging matibay tayo. Lahat ng mga resources natin dapat prepared tayo. Yung mga skills natin sa mga bagay-bagay dapat na-enhance 'yan para maka-adapt tayo dun sa pagbabago. Kasi kapag ang community hindi niya ina-adapt 'yan, sila din ang babalikan ng problema. Kumbaga 'pag pinabayaan, sila din ang babalikan ng mismong sakit or sila yung pupuntahan ng sakit. Hindi sila makaka-adjust na maayos kasi hinayaan lang nilang pumasok. Hindi sila nag-prepare, parang gano'n. Okay? And then, we also have the community participation. Through community participation, individuals can provide their own contributions through the acts of volunteerism in projects and other community initiatives. Pag sinabi natin community participation kasi kapag in a barangay or in a community, may mga projects na pinopromote. So dun sa projects na yun, kapag ikaw as a part of the community, kabarangay ka, ibig sabihin, nag-o-offer ka ng help mo. Vino-volunteer mo yung sarili mo para tumulong dun sa activity. That is the community participation or volunteerism. Like say for example, nire-renovate yung barangay hall. Okay, kailangan nila ng magtatrabaho doon. Tapos ino-offer mo yung mismong skill mo sa paggawa ng mga bahay-bahay o paggawa ng mga structures. That is the act of volunteerism. Say for example, may mga medical missions na pumapasok sa isang community, sa isang barangay. Tapos i-volunteer mo yung sarili mo in a way na mag-i-inform ka sa mga bahay-bahay na merong ganito, merong ganyan. That is already community participation. Even na-volunteer mo yung sarili mo para makatulong sa community. That is communal initiative. Alright? You are trying to volunteer yourself. That is what we call communal initiative. Okay? Ito yung initiative mo within the community that you are trying to give help or to offer help. Participation is not only focused on being part of an ongoing project, but an individual should also be an active member by taking part in managerial, of course. Yung participation na yan, hindi lang yung physical na nakikita. Hindi lang yung paggawa ng mga bahay-bahay, pagbuhat ng mga ganyan. Ang participation din ay nangyayari kapag isa ka sa mga sa mga nagpaplano, nagko-conceptualize ng mga plano, nag-ooperate ng mga plano, nag-execute ng mga plano. That is also participation. Anything that involves the community at nag-offer ka ng help sa kahit na anong bagay, that is community participation or participation. When you volunteer yourself, that is what we call for the community, that is communal initiative. Alright, yung existing communal models naman, ito naman yung mga bagay-bagay na produkto ng ating community. Okay, it's either man yung nakikita natin or yung hindi. It's like yung mga town halls, yung mga structures na nakikita natin, that those are examples of existent communal models or communal models. Yung mga sa group discussion, kapag may pa-meeting, tapos may mga proyekto, may mga forums about executing mga plans. Those are examples of communal models. Okay? Anything that is related to the community, any structure, any tawag dito, any intangible na mga bagay-bagay na ginagawa within the community are examples of communal models. Mapapansin nyo kapag may mga projects, pinipicturean, nire-record yan, examples po, mga communal models po yun. Alright? An active community is one of the most important facets of healthy community. Okay, nasasabi natin na yung community ay isang healthy or active yung community kapag may mga problema sa community, ina-address po agad. Alright? Like, for example, yung yung mga basic example nun is kapag pumapasok yung may problema sa community. For example, yung may virus, sabihin natin. Yung, yung may mga ganon, yung pagpasok ng virus dito sa bawat community. Tapos ini-inform ng bawat ng mga officials natin na please wear your mask, wear your face shield, parang ganon. That is an example that the community is considered as active. Kapag yung barangay natin or community natin, Wala tayong patubigan. Yung tubig natin, kinukuha pa natin sa malayong lugar o sa kabilang barangay. So, nag-initiate yung mismong community natin na magkakaroon tayo ng plano na kung saan magkakaroon tayo ng sariling patubig. That is a proof that the community is healthy or active. Kapag may mga problema agad-agad, ina-address. Alright? Kasi yung sa may last part, yung last part na naka-underline, sustainable solutions created by the combined efforts, ideas, expertise, and experience of the group. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga ideas na kapag may mga plano, may mga problema, ini-inform yung mga kasama natin within the community, yung mga kabarangay, tapos nagkakaroon tayo ng meeting, yun yung part na kung saan kinakailangan po yung idea natin. Okay, within sa may pa-meeting si barangay kapitan. Tapos sabi niya, dito tayo sa gym mamayang hapon, kailangan meron akong i-announce niyo at kailangan ko yung mga ideas niyo. That is sustainable solutions created by the combined efforts. So kapag for the good of the community, ang ginagawa is to get yung mga ideas natin, yung mga various ideas natin kasi magkakaiba tayo ng ideas. Sa pagkakaiba ng mga ideas na yun, nagkakaroon tayo ng magandang idea in solving a problem. Okay? That's how a community acts. Ganun po nagmo-move ang isang community. As one po sila. While participation is the key, within the community kasi, laging ang susi sa community ay participation. Kumbaga, ini-include mo lagi yung sarili mo, that is inclusion. So every time na may mga activities, may mga proyekto, ini-include mo yung sarili mo, that is inclusion. The key is always participation. Is one aspect of the community that is integral in binding the collective into a whole. So ibig sabihin yung pag sinasali mo yung sarili mo sa mga bagay-bagay, kumbaga binabind mo yung sarili mo as part of the collective. Pag sinabi natin collective, parang grupo-grupo yan within the community na parang andito yan, andito, gusto mong sumali. Parang kapag sa laro sana, gusto mong sumali. Kumbaga, binabind mo yung sarili mo. Ini-include mo yung sarili mo para makasama ka dun sa grupo. Yung collective na yun. Para masabing grupo siya. That is collective. Alright? And then as a form of social assembly, the personalities within the community are different and unique. Alright? When we say personalities within the community, it is impossible sa isang community na lahat ng mga ideas, lahat ng mga personalities sa community ay magkakapareho. Wala pong ganun. Lahat ng mga community, sa isang community, expect mo na magkakaiba yung mga tao dyan, magkakaiba yung personalities nila, magkakaiba yung mga ideas nila. Yung pagkakaiba natin yon, it will make the community as a whole. Okay? Alright. One person is unique as the other. Kasi mahalaga po yan kapag nagko-contribute tayo ng mga ideas sa isang proyekto. Mahalaga po yung pagkakaiba natin. In a way na mas kapag may problem sana, nakikita natin agad yung problem kapag mayroon tayong iba't ibang idea. Okay? Such backgrounds, histories, mores, and customs vary yet should be integrated into the local communal social fabric. Parang kapag sinabi nating communal, social fabric within the community, when I say social fabric, it's like yung parang mga listahan ng mga pagkakaiba natin, uniqueness natin, yung mga participations natin. Those are what we call communal social fabric. Parang mga customs, ang mga mores natin, mga social norms. Okay? Moreover, inclusions echoes the need for the community to be compromising and tolerant of these differences. So within the community, dapat ang bawat isa sa isang community dapat nagiging tolerant tayo sa isa't isa. Kumbaga dapat nagiging accepting tayo sa isa't isa. Hindi yung parang kino-compromise natin yung pagkakaiba natin. Alright? A community should always consider not only the needs of the majority but more critically the needs of the minority. Hindi lang po sa minority, dapat kapag within the community, dapat meron yung tinatawag na wider view. Ibig sabihin, kapag may mga problema, may mga ina-address para sa lahat. Hindi lang ina-address para sa mga ganyan, ganito. Especially kapag ganun, especially kapag pagbibigay ng mga ayuda. Pagbibigay ng mga ayuda, minsan, nagiging bias sila. Minsan, dito sa amin, binibigyan lang. Minsan, yung mga mayayaman. Minsan, hindi pa nabibigyan ng tamang karapatan yung mga mahihirap. That is hindi na po promote yung tinatawag nating social equity. Kapag sinabi kasi nating social equity sa isang community, ibig sabihin tayo ay nagiging equal sa lahat ng mga bagay-bagay. Sa pagbigay ng opportunity sa mga ganyan, pagbigay ng opportunity sa mga ganyan, hindi tayo namimili. Namimili tayo pero minsan lahat nabibigyan. Minsan may inuuni lang tayo pero lahat nabibigyan. Pero minsan yung hindi na po-promote ni social equity na kapag namili tayo, hindi sila lang nabibigyan, wala nang iba. Hindi po na po-promote ang social equity dun. When I say social equity, there is fairness in everyone. Like kapag nabigyan ka ng Isang bagay, dapat lahat nabibigyan. Parang ganun. Okay? You are trying to look in the community, sa community in a wider view. Tinitingnan mo lahat, hindi lang yung isa. Andiyan po yung community as a movement. So kapag sinabi natin community as a movement, a community is more than just a collective. So ang community po, hindi lang po isa quantity o hindi lang po sa bilang ng mga tao na nag-i-stay. Okay, more than that. So ang community po, ito yung nagna-nurture. Isa siyang separate na existence na kung saan nagna-nurture po ng buhay. Para po siyang isang ina na kung saan inaalagaan niya yung bata sa sinapupunan niya. Parang yung ina is the community, and then yung mga tao, siya yung bata sa loob. Kumbaga gano'n, ninu-nurture niya yung mga nag-i-stay dun sa mismong lugar. That is a community. Kasi sa community, in a way na nagnu-nurture is that nagtutulong-tulong. Kapag mayro'n kang kailangan, tumutulong yung kapitbahay mo. Kapag kailangan mo ng ganito, tumutulong si barangay kapitan o di ganyan. That is caring for each other, takes on life, nurturing each other. Living within the imagination of its members, a community also embodies a perspective, identity. So yung mga tao, yung mga members ng mga community, meron kanya-kanya pong perspective yan. Kapag sinabi natin perspective, may kanya-kanya kang punto. Okay, meron kang kanya-kanyang point of view. Merong identity, may sarili kang identity, meron kang sariling strand na kinabibilangan. Okay, much like social movement, parang social movement po siya. The difference kasi kapag social movement, example na lang nito yung mga nag-rally. Kapag social movement kasi, nabubuo sila for a particular reason. Say for example, ang mga social movement, kumbaga meron silang mga fina-follow mga batas sa community nila. Tapos kapag yung government, meron silang sinabi at against yun sa mga paniniwala nila, they tend to become a social movement. Nagiging active sila. Pinaglalaban nila yung mga paniniwala nila, which is mali yung government about this one. Okay, usually kasi mga social movement, may mga iba kasi na maganda, meron yung iba na hindi. Alright, yung mga anti-government, those are yung mga hindi magandang social movement. Okay? Minsan kasi may yung mga pinaglalaban din nila, minsan tama din. Yun yung mga tamang social movement. Okay, the main differences between both is social movements is uh, exist dapat yan. It exists primarily of a cause and the manifest either as a reaction of an object of an event. So within the social movement, ibig sabihin they fight as one. But hindi yung nagdadamayan sila sa isa't isa. Kapag gagalaw sila yun as one. Pero when it comes to self-help, hindi po nangyayari yun. Yung parang yung mga kapag may problema ka, tutulungan kita, hindi. Sa isang community lang yun, like the barangay. Pero social movement is very different. Okay? They act as one, but they don't help each other. Parang ganun. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating as pre-existing popular rhetoric, when say rhetoric, they are considered as active. Kumbaga, magalaw sila. May mga bagay-bagay na kapag ayaw nila, they tend to become active. Parang volcano lang kapag dumating na yung time na bigla siyang puputok talaga siya. And then, while a community is bound not just by one issue or narrative, but a plethora of compromises that are commonly accepted and continually reinforced. Sa atin kasi kapag hindi lang tayo nagfo-focus sa isang issue within the community compared to social movement. Sa community kasi, kapag may mga problema tayo, pinag-uusapan natin yun as one. Kumbaga within the community, pantay-pantay lang tayo. Unlike kasi sa with the social movement, they have their own leaders. The leaders will give them the objectives and then they tend to fight for it. Parang ganun. Sa community kasi, we accept the differences natin. Kapag may mga pagkakamali, may mga problema tayo, nagdadamayan tayo. That is the advantage in being part of a community. When you say community kasi, you feel the sense of belonging. Okay? Ibig sabihin, nabibilang ako dito. Mas maganda dito kasi tanggap ako, parang ganun. To put it simply, a social movement is more issue-specific and may exist primarily for its own ecosystem. When I say primarily of its own ecosystem, it's like parang meron silang may sarili silang mundo, kumbaga. Ang social movement, nagpo-focus sila sa mga issue or nagpo-focus lang sila sa isang issue na feeling nila mali. Nag-i-exist sila, parang meron silang sariling mundo. Okay? Unlike kasi sa community, ang community, it's either ina-apply yung self-help or yung nakikipagtulungan sa ibang community. Ganun po siya. Okay? Unlike kasi sa mga social movement, they move on their own. Okay? Parang feeling na they are considered as independent. Parang ganun. And then, through issues and concerns that are shared among its members, meron tayong mga kanya-kanyang advokasya. Yung advokasya, meron yung mga social movement, yung mga nagrarally na yan, meron silang sariling advocacy. Tayo naman as a community, meron tayong kanya-kanyang advocacy. As compared to social movements, communities are made up of various advocacies. Yes, of course, sa atin dito sa isang barangay, sa isang community, yung mga advocacies natin, hindi lang kasi isa. Means yung advocacy din natin para sa kabutihan ng lahat at para sa kabutihan ng community. All right, that they try to supplement ongoing efforts of the government. So ibig sabihin, ang community po is like a small country. Parang ang Philippines is already a big country, and then yung mga barangay-barangay is already a small country. Na kapag mayroong pinopromote sa yun sa Philippines, sa mismong malaking country, ibig sabihin, pinopromote at sinusuportahan yun ng mga small country, which is the community or the barangay. Kapag social movement kasi, they don't, usually kasi, hindi naman lahat, pero some kasi, they are considered as anti. Okay, they fight. They don't support. Tayo kasi within the community, we support. All right? And then advocacies include multitudes of topics where people are compelled to push for specific agendas that are shared through their supporters. So ibig sabihin, kapag sinabi natin through their shared supporters, usually ginagawa po ng mga social movement is to tell their advocacies to other people, and they are trying to invite them to be a part of this social movement. Okay, parang mga nagrarally, kapag yung mga nagrarally na yan, sinisigaw-sigaw nila ganito, ganito, it's a way of inviting other people to be a part of this social movement. It's like parang marketing, ganon. Sinasabi na yung mga maganda sa social movement. Ano yung gusto nilang pinaglalaban. Para gusto nilang mabago, para tayo ay meron din pagbabago. Tayo ay maging okay ang buhay. Parang ganon yung mga advocacy yan ng mga social movement. Sa atin kasi, we create this what we call organic working. Networking of actors. Yun si networking of actors, yung tinutukoy niya ditong actors, tayo po yun. Yung mga tao sa community na gumagalaw. Okay, networking because connected po tayo sa community. Okay, we act as one. At the same time, nagkakaroon tayo ng self-help. We offer help for each other. We solve issues as one that later find commonalities. Yung mga commonalities natin, yung mga bagay-bagay na kapag yung wants and need natin intersect, commonalities po yun. Kung saan tayo mag-meet, that is avenues. Say for example, yung problema ko ganito, tapos problema mo ganyan, magkapareho tayo, doon tayo nag-meet. Yun yung tinatawag nating avenue. Okay, yun yung commonalities natin. Magkapareho tayo ng problema at nag-meet tayo doon sa mismong problema kung paano natin isosolve, avenue po yun. It's more like a figure of speech. Okay? Okay, and for cooperation and partnership, kapag nag-meet tayo diyan sa mismong sa gitna, nagkakaroon tayo ng cooperation at partnership. Tutulungan kita dito, tutulungan kita niya kasi pareho lang tayo ng problema. Okay, at the end of it, mariresolve natin na mas mabilis kasi dalawa tayo. That is cooperation and partnership. Okay? And then, the partnership can take form between individuals or groups. Yung partnership po, hindi lang po para sa, of course, kapag partnership, hindi lang isa. Kapag dalawa or grupo or it means minsan ini-involve nyo to yung kabuuan ng community. That is partnership. Embracing this kind of diversity, of course, within a community, there is pagkakaiba, there is diversity. And then, ayan, standing on the foundation of advocacies and networking is the hope of social action. When we say social action, students, it's like kapag may mga problema within the community, nag-offer ka ng help, gumagawa tayo ng mga paraan, that is social action. We are trying to offer help. Okay, social action tayo doon. Okay, at the end of the day, the community hopes to address the issues of the status quo. When I say status quo, ito yung term natin sa mga issues na currently na tawag dito na nararanasan ng isang community or isang bansa, that is the status quo. Okay? Sa mga combined efforts ng mga actors, mga actors, sa mga combined na efforts natin through planning, conceptualization, operationalization, operationalization, ang haba, implementation of action. Hindi lahat nagiging posible yan kapag wala yung tinatawag natin political will ng mga actors. Of course, pag sinabi natin political will ng mga actors, yung mga actors, main actors natin dyan ay yung mga officials natin. Kapag sinabi natin political will, ito yung kakayahan nila, kapangyarihan nila within the community. Hindi nagiging posible yon without their position, without those people backing them. So mahalaga din po yung position within the community kasi you have the power to control the community, to give them advices. Para ibig sabihin, nakikinig sila sa iyo because of your position. Like say, barangay kapitan, nakikinig sa iyo kasi ikaw yung kapitan eh. Ikaw yung na-assign the leader sa within the community. Okay? That is the political will or the political will of a actor. The community is a movement that cannot be dismissed as external to the reality. So yung community po, tayo as a movement, hindi natin nadi-dismiss yung mga bagay-bagay na binibigay sa atin ng ating environment. Kapag yung problema, andyan yung problema, hindi yan natin naaalis sa ating community. That is already a part of the growth of our community. We are in fact the community. Our personal worldviews and realities are directly derived from the collective. So kapag yung mga decisions natin within the community, decisions natin, nagbabago po yan because we are considering the whole community. Sa community kasi, as one tayo, hindi tayo gumagawa ng mga decisions para lang sa atin. Gumagawa tayo ng mga decisions na para sa kapangkalahatan ng community. Nakaka-apekto yung mga decisions na yun because you are considering yung kabuuan ng community. Yun yung ideal na community, okay? Ourselves and sharing a common identity, we also hear the same. Ayan, salamat po sa pakikinig sa ating short na discussion. So I hope na naintindihan po